Once you've signed up for Trailhead and you start setting up playgrounds, you're going to get launched into this screen. Typically, it will start with this playground starter each time. It doesn't always. There'll also be some hints and tricks and training that pop up. You can always close those if you want. We're going to walk through what a typical service or sales app looks like. So all these dots here are your app launcher. When you click on those, you can start searching for apps that you have access to. If you see it in the list, you can click on it, or you can start typing, and it will also narrow the list. So I'm going to go ahead and click on sales. This is, again, typically geared towards your sales team, what they're going to be working on. So they'll all have a home. And again, you can set up, Salesforce is set up, but you can also customize this training and guidance that pops up so that your users can learn how to use the system without having to call you for help. And again, these are all the required learnings that you can assign to them, some suggestion ones they have in progress or completed ones. We'll go ahead and close out of that. Normally, again, when they log in, they have their home button that's going to give them a quick dashboard showing them some statistics, any things that need your assistance, tasks for today, recent records you've opened, recent opportunities that you're working on. You also have the objects across the top that you can open, or you can hit the drop down beside them and just create, if you wanted to jump straight to creating a new opportunity without actually opening. Because if I click on opportunities, it's going to open the list of opportunities. And again, you can click new from here. Let's talk through what a typical sale is and some of the terminology for salespeople. If you have a list, or you went to a trade show and you gathered names of people that are interested in your product, but they've never actually purchased anything from you, those are called a lead in Salesforce. So I'm going to click on this leads object. And again, everything defaults to my recently viewed. I can drop down and look at different views. I can also create my own custom view. I'm going to go ahead and say show me all open leads. So these are everybody that wants or potentially could want to buy something from our company. And again, it gives you a little bit of information on this screen. You can click this little gear here. You can clone this if you want to keep this particular view and create your own. You could rename this. If you create it, you can share it with other people. If we just want to modify this one and say we need to add or remove fields, I can select fields here. I can also filter the list. And typically what I want to do is we want to leave an all open lead so that there is one way to see everything for everybody, but I could also edit it and say, okay, I want to show all open leads that are assigned to me so that I'm not seeing everybody's list in the whole company. Or you could delete the list if you created it and you were done with it. So again, these are people that want to or possibly want to do business with your company. I'm going to go ahead and say new. We'll just create a new lead. Again, anything in Salesforce that has the red asterisk in front of it is going to be required, so you have to answer it. So I can put in a first name, a last name, and again, anything that is required. Lead source, where did I find this lead? I don't have to track it. If they came in through our website, if they called in, if somebody referred them, if you bought a list, because you can purchase lists of people, or you can just say other. We're going to say that they've called in. What industry do they work in? Again, any information that you can have just kind of helps when you're working this lead later on and you're trying to remember different things about the lead. Now, you do have to have a status because we need to track where this particular status is. So open, not contacted means they're brand new in the system. Nobody's ever called them or emailed them. There's been no contact with them. Since this person called in, we've actually talked to them. So I would go ahead and say, okay, it's working contacted, so that I know that, okay, we have actually talked to them. You could also rate them, whether they're a hot, warm, or cold lead. Hot lead, you really think they're ready to go, they want to buy. Warm means they're getting pretty close, or cold is, they're just nosy, wanted to call in and check on some things. Again, you can track address information and any other information. And again, Salesforce is customizable. So if you don't want to track some of this information, you could hide the fields so that it's not taking up screen space, or you could add new fields if there's things that aren't on there that you want to track. Again, if I'm typing it in and I decide I don't want to save it, I can cancel. Save a new is going to allow me to go ahead and enter another lead, or save is just going to save this lead. I'm going to go ahead and save it. Once I save an individual lead, it's going to go ahead and pop me into a view that has more information about this one lead. And we have what we call the Kanban view, or some people call it Kanban, where it shows the different statuses. So the very first status is open, not contacted, all the way up to converted. Converted means that they're going to purchase something from us and we want to actually convert them to an account or contact and an opportunity within the system, which gets them out of the lead bucket and into actually where the revenue and all of the other fun takes place in your organization. And I can manually click on these statuses to change them from one status to the next. Down here, I can log a call. So anytime you call them, you're going to want to come in here, log the call, and put in a little bit about what you talked about on the phone call. That way you have a history, and the next time you go to call them, you can kind of remember what you talked about. You could create a new task. So if you needed to remember to do something for this person, they said, oh, call me back in a week. I'll know more information in a week. Go ahead and do that. You could create a new event. So if you wanted to create a calendar event and invite them to a Zoom meeting or a phone call or a conference or something, you could put a new event on there. And then if you're going to email them, go ahead and email them from within Salesforce. And this way, again, it's tracked within the system and everybody can see all of the contact that has been taking place on this particular client, especially if you're working this lead and you call in sick or you're on vacation and this particular person calls in and they're like, I want help and I want help now. Everybody can see all the conversations that have taken place and know exactly where this client is, what they're wanting. On the related tab, so Salesforce is going to try and make sure that you have clean data. That means there's no duplicates. So they're looking at things like email address and name and address, things like that, to make sure that you're not recreating another account that should not be created within Salesforce. Now, there is a way that you can merge them if you get duplicate accounts. There's ways to clean up the data, but they're trying to be proactive. You can also create campaigns within Salesforce. Those are marketing tactics where you're trying to, again, get these people to purchase something. And so if they're part of a particular campaign, you would see this here under campaign history. You can follow a lead. So anytime anything happens with this particular lead, you're going to get a message saying, hey, somebody either sent them a chat, they emailed in, anything that happens with this particular lead. You could also edit. So if I needed to make changes to, Sally called in and I got her email address, I could edit that information. I'm going to skip these two for right now and just do a drop down. Anytime you see a drop down, that's another menu. So again, you could create a new note for this person. You could delete it. You could change the owner. So right now I'm the owner of this account. That means I'm typically the one that's going to be doing all the calling and contacting and working with them to try and make a sale. If for some reason I need to I'm overwhelmed, I can't contact everybody, or I'm leaving the company, we would change the owner to somebody else. I could clone this lead to make another one. That might be easy or be done if, say, I find somebody else that works at the same company as Sally and I didn't want to have to retype all the information. I just wanted to change the name and a few fields. I could clone it. I can share this particular lead with somebody else. I can look at the sharing hierarchy, which means who all can see this particular lead. I can check for new data, and then I can actually print this out. New case is if we're tracking within Salesforce any kind of problems or issues that our clients are having, we would track those as a case within the system. And so that's where you would click new case and go ahead and create the case. The convert button is, okay, I've been talking with Sally. We've been working together. She's finally agreed to purchase something from us. I need to convert her from a lead into an actual account and a contact. And if she's made a verbal commitment or sent in a check or gave me funds, I could actually create an opportunity. So when I click convert, it's going to ask me, okay, do I want to create a new account for Sam's Club, the company that she works for? Or is there an existing one out there that I need to look for? Again, do I need to create a new contact? Or is there an existing, does Sally maybe work for Sam's Club and a Walmart, and so she already exists, but I just need to create her account for Sam's Club? And an opportunity is, again, if they're actually saying, okay, they're going to buy something, it's going to create an opportunity, and that's where we start tracking the sales, and it affects forecasting and budgeting and all that fun stuff in the background, and could potentially affect my bonus if I get bonuses based on how many sales that I make. So by default, it's going to create all of these. I do have the ability to not create an opportunity by clicking this and say, don't create an opportunity. And I can expand any of these to see more information. If I made a name change here, I could then go ahead and update some other information. And again, since I'm the person that created Sally's original account and I'm her record owner, it's going to go ahead and make me the record owner of her account and her opportunities. I could change that if for some reason I'm just the one out there making the phone calls, trying to get them in the door, and then once they're in the door, I transfer them to someone else, then I could do that. And then we always leave the status as closed converted, because you want them to be closed out of leads, because now they're an official client of yours and they're under accounts contacts, and we don't want them left under a lead. So once I go ahead and click convert, it quickly shows me, all right, been converted. I can either create a new task for that one, or I can go back to leads, or I can just X out and get back to my original. So again, I can pull up individual leads. If I go over to accounts, I now see the Sam's Club account that we just created. So again, accounts are for companies that are purchasing or working with you. And then you can notice that we also created the contact. So whenever somebody from Sam's Club wants to make a purchase, we're typically going to contact Sally because she's going to be our contact there. And right now we have one opportunity that we're working with them. And again, we can see other entitlements, cases, notes, or attachments, or if they are actually a partner of somebody, we could create a partner. And again, on the account, we could create a task, an event, log a call, or an email. Or if you could invite them to Chatter, and you could use Chatter to converse back and forth with them, and all of that information will be tracked within Salesforce. So again, I could follow a particular account, we're again a company, I can edit, I could create a new contact because maybe Sally only deals with the grocery department at Sam's, and I'm going to be working trying to sell them clothing. So I could create a contact to who I need to talk to when I'm dealing with the clothing or the automotive department or different things. Again, I could create a new case, a new opportunity. So again, the first opportunity, I'm selling Sally fruits and vegetables, and now I'm coming in and I'm going to sell them some clothing, so I could create a new opportunity specific to the clothing. Again, I could change the owner. I could delete this account completely. Again, we're talking about the hierarchy, some sharing of who I want to share this information with, check for new data, and I can also print this. Moving on to contacts. Again, I can see that Sally Field is my contact. Again, no duplicates. I can see the opportunities. Again, more information related to her. Notice a lot of these objects have the same things available for all of them. So again, your activity and your chatter. You have basically the same drop downs. I skipped over files. Files are where you can upload files. So again, if you're sending them letters or different things, or they send you, say, a list of here's all the particular types of vegetables that we like. I mean, you could attach files and keep track of them for that particular account or contact. Campaigns, again, are marketing tactics. If you want to do mass emails or mailing out of letters or brochures, or you're going to a trade conference, you would come in here and you would create a campaign, and then you would target those particular accounts within that campaign. And we're going to go into a lot of these in more detail in other videos. I'm just kind of giving you a quick overview. So you could create dashboards if you wanted to track particular views or reports or statistics and have them available quickly for users or management. Same with reports. You could create reports. If you're creating a dashboard, you have to have the reports because the reports make up the dashboard. Again, I could jump to chatter, or I could make a post, I could do a poll, I could ask a question, or I could just chat back and forth with, again, either people within Salesforce, my coworkers, or if we've gotten the clients hooked up, we can actually chat with the client. And again, all of that would be tracked within Salesforce. You can also create groups and join different groups. So we can go into this in more detail later, but the groups are a bunch of individual users or a bunch of other groups. You could look at roles or territories. You could create these public groups that are available for everybody, or you could do personal groups that are just shared with just certain people. There's already a video out there about the calendar functionality and how you can use that within Salesforce. So the People tab and the People list on the Chatter tab, it just shows a list of people that you viewed recently within your organization. If your organization has 25 or fewer employees or people in it, then it will just show everybody in that list. And I can look at active users, admin users, or all users. And then again, cases are where we're going to track issues. If people are calling in, again, say your IT department, they could use cases to track any issues that you're having within Salesforce, or if your computer monitor is flickering or something is wrong, you could use cases to track that kind of information. And then forecast is to help set up budgeting and forecasting. A lot of your management, CEO, C-suite people would be using that. So again, your app launcher here, you can also search up at the top. It's going to search, when you search at the top, it's going to search for objects, people, contacts, leads, opportunities, anything that has that within it, and that will show you that information. You can create favorites, and you would have a favorite list up here. You can always hit the plus sign to do new events, tasks, create a new contact, things that you may need to do no matter, say you're on another screen, you're right in the middle of something, and somebody calls in and you're like, hey, can you send an email to so-and-so? You could just click the plus sign, quickly jump to it, send the email, and get back to what you were doing. The Guidance Center is, again, where all the help files and those videos were that kept popping up when we first logged into Salesforce. They can come back here if they needed to. Again, you have your help file. Your gear is where we're going to jump to later as administrators to help set up the system. Everybody's got a notification where they can read notifications that come through for Salesforce. And then you can also set up your own settings within profiles. So again, each user, if they wanted to change their language that's defaulted in, or their time zone, or things like that, that are different from what the standard setup for your organization is, they can do that. So again, that's just a quick overview of sales